Höcke has been surrounded by controversy in Germany for several years. He's one of the country's most radical politicians. He is so radical that he could be branded as a fascist. This was decided by a German court in 2019. Calling him a fascist is supported by the facts, the court said. Höcke is critical of the German politics of remembrance, including the Holocaust and the National Socialist past. This stupid policy still weighs us down today. We need to do a 180-degree turn on the politics of remembrance. That would be a U-turn. So, does he want to portray National Socialism as something positive? It is striking that Björn Höcke himself repeatedly refers to National Socialism and its racist and anti-Semitic ideology. For example, in the AfD election manifesto in the eastern German state of Thuringia. Right at the beginning there is a poem by Franz Langheinrich. He was not just a poet, he was an ardent National Socialist in the days of Adolf Hitler. Björn Höcke is a history teacher. This reference could be less than coincidental. Or on his Telegram account, there he approvingly quotes the publicist Arthur Müller-van den Broek, who was an anti-democratic nationalist in 1920s Germany and who dreamed of a Third Reich. Hitler then used the term for his fanatical regime of terror that covered Europe with war and which murdered millions of people. In 2024, Höcke was fined twice for his Nazi rhetoric. He had used the slogan of the SA stormtroopers, "Everything for Germany," during public rallies. The SA was Hitler's notorious paramilitary branch. The verdict against Höcke is not yet final. But none of this seems to deter voters. Opinion polls show the AfD party as the strongest political force in the Thuringia state election, and that worries many people. The problem is if you don't put a stop to it, if civil society doesn't stand up and say stop, this far and no further, then these famous firewalls will fall and then it will be a catastrophe.
Und dann kommt es zur Katastrophe.
Björn Höcke wants to become the leader of Thuringia. He would be the first politician from his AfD party to do so. One of his favorite campaign topics, no German military aid for Ukraine. The message is no war must ever be allowed to start from German soil, and no war propaganda either. Germany must become a force for peace. That goes down well in Thuringia. After all, nobody wants war. Höcke wants a rapprochement with Russia. He even sees Putin's autocracy as a social role model in the fight against the supposedly decadent West. Today, Russia is, whether you want to hear it or not with the mainstream media, a country with which not only negative associations are linked. One or the other has hoped that Russia could possibly be a pioneer for a world of free and sovereign states without hegemonic influence. Putin as a pioneer for a free world? Historians say that the link between right-wing movements like the AfD and Vladimir Putin is his authoritarian form of rule. It's not that they somehow see Putin as a savior or that they particularly like the guy. They already know that he's a bloodthirsty dictator. What they want to learn from him, so to speak, are these state ideas of how he has society under control, which has a tradition in Russia, and how he implements this to a certain extent through his authoritarian state model. Because Höcke's ideology is considered to be so radical, no other party wants to govern with the AfD after the state elections. So even though the AfD has gathered strength in Thuringia and Germany, Björn Höcke will probably remain in opposition.